goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
And she goes down at 12.
I take 'tis later, sir.
Hold, take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out. Take thee that too. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restrain me in the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Give me my sword. Who's there?
A friend.
What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's abed. He has been in an unusual pleasure, and set forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal. And by the name of the most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should have free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of the 3 weird sisters. To you they've showed some truth.
I think not of them. Yet, when we entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kind's leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, it shall make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and allegiance clear. I shall be counseled.
Good repose a while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Dagger I see before me, the handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible to feeling as the sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from a heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet in form as palpable as this which I draw. Thou marshalled me the way that what I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine arts are made the fools of others' censors, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade indulging gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing it is in this bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now over the one half-world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder alarmed his sentinel the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides, towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which the way they walk for fear. Thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now suits without it, whiles I threat he lives, words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, it is done, the bell invites me, hear it not, Duncan, for it is the knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark, peace! It was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman, which gives the sternest good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I've drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What ho?
Alack, I'm afraid they have awaked, and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark! I laid their daggers ready. He could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it. My husband!
I have done the deed. Didst thou hear not a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
Aye.
Hark, who lies I the second chamber?
Donalbain.
This is a sorry sight. A fool.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh in sleep, and one cried murder. That they did wake each other, I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and addressed them again to sleep.
There are 2 lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen, and the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's head, listening their fear, they said amen, when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But where thou could I not pronounce amen when I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought. After these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep, the innocent sleep, sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care, the death of each day's life, sore labor's bath, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, sleep no more to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Why, worthy Thane, do you unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things? Go get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must be there. Go carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I am afraid to think what I have done. Look on't again, I dare not.
Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is't with me when every noise appalls me? What hands are here? Ha! They pluck out mine eyes. With all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will rather the multitudinous seas and incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear a knocking at the south entry. Retire us to your chamber. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy it is, then, your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark, more knocking. Get your nightgown, lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake, Duncan, with thy knocking, I would thou couldst.
Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have, turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? In the name of Beelzebub, here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectations of plenty. Come in times. Have napkin enough about you. Here you swear for it. Knock! Who's there? In the other devil's name, faith. Here's an equivocator that could swear in both the scales against either scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator. Knock, 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 who's there? Faith, here's an English traitor come hither, for stealing out of a French hose. Come in, tailor, here you may roast your goose. Knock, knock, never requite. What are you? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter if it no further. I had thought to have let in some of the professions that go in primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. Anon, anon, I pray thee, remember the porter.
Stop. Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing till the second crop. And drink, sir, it was great provoker of three things.
What three things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir, nose painting, sleep and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and unprovoked. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be the equivocator with lechery. It makes him, and it mars him. It sets him on and takes him off. It persuades him and disheartens him, makes him stand to and not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him in a sleep, and giving him the lie leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
That it did, sir, the very throat on me, but I requited him for his life, and I think, being too strong for him, though he took up my leg sometime, yet I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring? Our knocking has awaked him. Here he comes. Good morrow, noble sir. Good morrow, both. Is the king stirring, worthy thane? Not yet. He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped an hour. I'll bring you to him. I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one. The labor we delight in physics pain. This is the door. I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service. Goes the king hence today? He does, he did appoint so. The night has been unruly where we lay. Our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamentings heard in the air, the screams of death, and prophesying with accents terrible of dire combustion and confused events, new hatched to the woeful time, the obscure bird clamored the lifelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake. 'Twas a rough night. My young remembrance cannot parallel fell to it. Oh, horror, horror, horror! Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee! What's the matter? Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke ope the Lord's anointed temple, and stole thence the life o' the building. What is it you say, the life? Mean you his majesty? Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new Gorgon. Do not bid me speak, see, and then speak yourselves. Awake, awake, ring the alarm bell. Murder and treason, Banquo and Donalbain, Malcolm, awake. Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself. Up, up, and see the great doom's image, Malcolm and Banquo, as from your graves rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this horror. Ring the bell.
What's this business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley? The sleepers of the house. Speak, speak.
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. Oh, Banquo, Banquo, our royal master is murdered.
Woe, alas! What, in our house?
Too cruel anywhere. Dear Duff, I prithee, contradict thyself and say it is not so.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time, for from this instant there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead, the wine of life is drawn, and the mere lees is what this vault to brag of. What is amiss? You are and do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it stopped. Your royal father's murdered. Oh, by whom? Those of his chamber, as it seemed, have done it. Their hands and faces were embadged with blood. So were their daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them. Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them. Wherefore did you so? Who can be wise, amazed, temperate, and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition my love outrun the pauser. Reason, here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs looked like a breach in nature, for ruin's wasteful entrance. There the murderers stepped in the colors of their trade, their daggers unmanly breached with gore. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make love known?
Help me, hence ho!
Look to the lady. Why do we hold our tongues? That most may claim this argument for ours. What should be spoken here, where our fate in an auger hole may rush and seize us? Let's away, our tears are not yet brewed, nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady. And when we have our naked frailties hid, that suffer in exposure, let us meet, and question this most bloody piece of work, to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice.
And so do I. Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together. What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which this false man does easy. All to England. To Ireland our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers in men's smiles. The nearer in blood, the nearer in bloody. This murderous shaft that shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away. There's warranty in that theft which steals itself, when there's no mercy left.
70 I can remember well, within the volumes of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange. But this sore night hath trifled former knowings.
Ah, good father, thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act, that threaten his bloody stage by the clock. 'Tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travelling lamp. Is the night's predominance or the day's shame that darkness does face of earth and tomb, when living light should kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done on Tuesday last. A falcon towering in her pride of glass was by a mousing owl attacked and killed.
And Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of the race turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, containing gainst obedience as they would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they eat each other.
They did so, to the amazement of my eyes that looked upon't. Here comes the good Macduff. Oh, I need my thing. How goes the world, sir, now? How goes the world, sir, now? Why, see you not? Is known who did this more than bloody deed? Those that Macbeth hath slain. Alas the day, what good they pretend. They were suborned, Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's 2 sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts them upon suspicion of the deed. Against nature still, thriftless ambitions that wilt raven up thine own life's means. When 'tis most like, the sovereign will fall upon Macbeth. He is already named and gone to Scone to be invested. Where is Duncan's body? Carried to Colmakill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardian of their bones. Will you go to Stone? No, cousin, all to Fife. Well, I will thither. Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu, lest our old robes sit easier than our new. Farewell, father.
God's benison go with you, and with those that would make good of bad and friend of foe.
Everyone has this from last week, right? From Friday? Remember that, the claim paragraph? Okay. So that will be due tomorrow.